Hey, this is Scott Hambrick at scotthambrick.com. I had a bunch of questions come to me about corporate personhood. I wrote a little blog post at scotthambrick.com about it, but I thought I would record something very quickly. Corporate personhood is rubbish. It's just not so. Corporations are not people. Seems patently obvious to me. And even if a judge declares that they can be treated as people, that doesn't change the metaphysical truth of the thing, which is that they are not people. Only people can be responsible. Corporations are figments. They're legal creations that exist only on paper. That those papers define the rules that a group of individuals operate under in order to undertake business activities together. And treating that set of rules and that piece of paper as though it was a person breaks, well, frankly, it breaks the universe. People have to be responsible because corporations can't be penalties. And so the corporations can be bankrupted and they can be fined, but they can't actually be held criminally liable. Criminal liability ultimately means, punishing people, jail time. And I think that's necessary. I think that's necessary to maintaining proper action in the world. When there is action taken, the actors need to have responsibility for that action. Corporate personhood breaks that. Right now, we're seeing some scandal about the 737, the Boeing 737 MAX aircraft that, frankly, it just isn't safe. There are all kinds of problems with the design. There are problems with the way that Boeing represented the aircraft to its auditors. I think they were at the FAA. There are people that are listening to this. They're far bigger experts on this matter than I. And if this happened, if it's found out that there was negligence involved in the creation of this aircraft or the management of the project or production or whatever, who will be responsible? Will the CEO of Boeing be jailed? Will the project leader over the design and production of this aircraft, whoever that may be, will that person have personal consequences? And the answer is probably no, because legal precedent says that Boeing is an individual, and Boeing itself, the company, carries the liability. And the company didn't make decisions, though. Individuals did. Corporations are designed to create value for the shareholders, and as such, they hold that as the measuring stick by which all of their behavior is measured. And how does a corporation provide value to shareholders? It's almost all monetarily. It's virtually all monetarily. So the ethical yardstick they use is strictly profit. In a smallholder company, a single proprietor company, the corporation needs to provide those things, the value to the owner. But the owner can also be damaged by negligent activity inside that business. They might go to jail. They can be personally bankrupted. So not only is there the profit motive, which I think is a good thing, that's the carrot, but there's also plenty of stick. And I think our legal system needs a whole lot more stick involved. I also got another question here about healthcare costs and what do I think would bring healthcare costs down? And I could go on and on and on about this, but number one might be getting rid of corporate personhood. If people had to act as individuals, layers of bureaucracy, litigiousness, and so on would come down, and I think it would reduce the cost. There would be some consequences of getting rid of this corporate personhood, and they would be felt keenly in healthcare. If corporate personhood goes away, the risks in undertaking big, ambitious projects would probably be too great for an individual to take on. I don't know how many people would be willing to personally be liable for creating hundreds and hundreds of aircraft that haul 250, 300, 350 each in the air, across the air at near supersonic speeds, 24 hours a day for decades on end. That's an activity that most sane people, if they were personally liable, wouldn't undertake. So if we abolish corporate personhood, there's a good chance that a lot of very risky, ambitious projects would never be done. But I think that's okay. I think that we would. I think we would benefit. I think we would benefit because small business ownership would thrive, even though the liability was there. The big competitors with their economies of scale and their sociopathic behavior would disappear. They would have to. The disappearance of those would benefit smallholders the world over and would create more independent individuals. It would create more people who were closely tied to their own work, and I think that would do nothing but root us in life and make us happy, make us happier. I'm all for making it easier for individuals to start and run their own businesses. And my view of entrepreneurship isn't to create a big business that you sell at an initial public offering and punch out for millions or even billions of dollars. It's the welder or the plumber or the barber that starts their own business and owns their own livelihood and is in control of the relationship they have with their client and is directly responsible for the good that they do with their craft or trade. We used to be a country of smallholders, and we're not anymore, and I'm all for getting rid of this corporate personhood. We'll keep talking about a few of these things that I think should be revisited from time to time. Most of us have grown up in an environment where corporations are treated as individuals in court, and we don't even really think about it. But it's an abomination. It's really an abomination, and it's an affront to truth because, again, companies are not people, and to treat them as such is to run afoul reality. And anytime we run afoul reality and thumb our nose, we're thumbing our nose at non. And when that happens, we suffer.